What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got Solana, Sui, and Aptos. I'm sure you're all wondering what these cryptos are up to, how low are they going to go, when are they going to bounce. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of the market. Your analysis could be different, and if it is, that's awesome, because the more difference of opinion that we have, the better traders and the better investors that we're all going to become. So with that being said, guys, let's get started here with Solana. Of course, as some of you may have heard, that Solana launched, or rather the CME launched Solana futures yesterday. And of course, the consensus view is that it was a nothing burger because there was just, just whatever it is, 7.8 million in open interest and 12 million in volume or whatever. And it's kind of funny, guys, because of course, when prices are down, everyone's always looking at things through a bearish lens. But the thing is that the listing of these CME futures is required for the SEC to list the spot Solana ETFs. So the trading volume doesn't really matter there. What matters is that the SEC has a reliable price feed for Solana that's not coming from like a crypto exchange. They want a price feed that's coming from a regulated exchange like the CME. So now that the SEC has this, it actually increases the chances significantly that a spot Solana ETF will be approved, which is something that's going to happen, I believe, by the fall. I think the final date is currently set to like early October, something like that. So again, the approval of the spots of the Solana futures, is necessary for the spot Solana ETF approval. And the fact that this is happening now is awesome, because the sooner this approval happens, the sooner that the spot Solana ETF could be approved. But of course, everyone's just looking at this and saying, oh, the trading volume is low, and this means there's going to be low demand for the ETF and blah, 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 completely ignoring the fact that, like right now, everything is down. Sentiment around Solana is really low. So it's not surprising, of course, that the trading volume is this bad, let's say, on the first couple of days. And of course, once these spot Solana ETFs are approved, of course, that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be inflows, but it does make it easy for investors, especially institutional investors, to allocate to Solana. And when you have like PayPal launching, or like already having PYUSD on Solana and planning to use it for payments on Solana, you have lots of catalysts that would encourage investors to invest in Sol. And some of you might remember that Grayscale's spot Solana Trust was trading at like a 9x premium sometime. I think it was last year, maybe in late 2023. But basically, there have been cases where institutions, they're huge fans of Solana, especially because it's kind of built by these people from Wall Street. And I know it's like also Silicon Valley, but a lot of Solana's infrastructure is being built by people on Wall Street. So there's lots of institutional interest there. So don't let all these short-term narratives here get to your head. Solana is actually looking just fine. This brings me to the Solana chart. As you can see, we are not doing any levels today. I've switched over to the original chart here on Binance, because I want to show you guys, some other indicators here and actually teach you a little bit about more about trading rather than just rambling over the price. So if you guys aren't familiar, what you're looking at here is the Bollinger Band indicator. You can find this on Binance if you're in the original default chart. You just go here to the technical indicator and you'll see under main, you'll see bull, and you literally just select that. You don't need to tweak any of the settings here. Just select bull. The default setting is the one that I use. It's the one that I think works great. And of course, we're here super zoomed out on the monthly chart. And as you can see, the Bollinger Band moving average for Solana is currently somewhere around $133, which is, within a few dollars of where Solana is. So long as Solana, kind of stays around this level, then it's completely fine. As you can see, the Bollinger Band moving average, which is this middle line here, has served as a really nice line in the sand for when Solana is in a bull market versus a bear market. So unfortunately, of course, the price history doesn't go all the way back here to the previous cycle, but you can kind of imagine that in the previous cycle, Solana was also bouncing along this Bollinger Band moving average. It kind of it rallied, and then it retested that level before it had this explosive move to the upside. And we're basically seeing the same thing now. Believe it or not, but this kind of rally in in early 2021 could actually be similar to what we're seeing here with Solana. And now it's retesting the Bollinger Band moving average, just like it did in the last cycle, before it sees another multi-month move higher. And when you zoom out and you apply these super basic indicators, it really helps put things into perspective. And again, the basically looking at this indicator is part of why I've been so bullish. And even you can remove this indicator, let's get rid of this indicator, and let's say, forget about the Bollinger Band. You can even see that even just using our eyes here, guys, we can see that there's a quite clear long-term support exactly somewhere around $125, which is where Solana is right now, basically, right? So even just with basic these levels, the support and resistance that I'm always using, these key levels, you can see that Sol's probably not headed much lower from here. This is again again, basically confirmed by the Bollinger Band moving average on the monthly. It looks like Sol is going to bounce, and if history repeats, it looks like it's going to see multiple months of just like straight to the upside, which when you combine with like the Solana ETFs and all this stuff, it does seem more likely than not. So long as Solana holds this level, it's completely fine. As scary as it is, I know it can be scary, especially if you're someone who bought near the top, but Sol does not look like it's going to be going much lower from here. I've been saying that now for a couple of weeks. Of course, as you might have noticed, guys, we were using Binance there. If you do want a trading fee discount, I would strongly suggest taking advantage of the deal that we have down in the description. It's a 20% trading fee discount with up to $600 in bonuses. That's the biggest discount you can get. It's something that's available exclusively from the Coin Bureau. The link is down in the description. It's super easy to take advantage of those deals. You know, literally takes 2 seconds to sign up. You get a trading fee discount. The exchange is a new user, and we get a cut of your trading fees. It's a win-win-win for everyone. So do take advantage of those deals before they run out. And again, the link is down in the description. So now, guys, moving over to Sui. Of course, yesterday Sui had this this Sui Gaming Summit, which I was hoping would be kind of like a big deal for Sui. It didn't really affect its price too much, but we did get another big announcement yesterday, which I'm sure some of you heard about, which is that Canary Capital filed for the first ever Sui ETF. And what's really interesting is that Bitwise, another asset manager, believes that Sui and Aptos could actually get spot ETFs as well. In my view, if Solana does get a spot ETF, then of course everyone is going to be looking at Sui and Aptos, because Sui and Aptos are the top competitors to Solana. And if Solana can get it, let's just say if Solana can get an ETF, then Sui and Aptos should be able to get one as well. And of course, now that these ETFs have been filed, of course, the ETF for Solana, the spot ETF for Aptos was filed earlier this month. So now both Sui and Aptos have spot ETFs in progress, which is pretty awesome. And you know, in terms of Sui's price action, again, similar thing to Solana. Right now, in this case, we're on the weekly. Of course, Sui is a newer crypto, so it's a little bit harder to read when you're using the Bollinger Band moving average. If we just quickly zoom out here to the monthly, you can see that the lowest, in my opinion, the lowest possible price that Sui could fall is currently somewhere around $1.7. Of course, this Bollinger Band moving average does move along with the price of Sui. So, you know, if Sui stays around this level or even keeps grinding higher, then this Bollinger Band moving average will also go higher. But in my opinion, looking at the weekly kind of shows us everything we need to know, that of course, when prices reach any of these extremes, like so the outer bands, when you hit the outer band to the upside, then probably the crypto's overbought and it's probably time to sell. And when the crypto price is close to the bottom of the band, then it's super oversold, and that's probably time to buy. And again, just using very basic support and resistance lines here, we can see that there's a very strong zone of support around $2 for Sui, which has been holding up quite well. And again, this is on the weekly chart. And also on the weekly chart, we can see that the Bollinger Band was basically tagged, like that outer band on the bottom was tagged by Sui when it dropped to around, I think it was $1.90 here. So all things point again to the idea that Sui is basically extremely oversold here on the weekly and is likely to have a bounce. At a minimum, I would expect to see Sui bouncing to the Bollinger Band moving average here on the weekly in the next couple of weeks. So that would be a gain of around 50%, which is not too shabby. But again, when you're having doubts, and of course, when I was using my typical analysis, I guess it was leaving a lot of things out of context, let's say. So I'm going to be throwing in more and more indicators just so you guys know what's going on and why it is that I'm so bullish, because I'm looking not just at support and resistance, but all these other indicators that tell me, yeah, it looks like Sui's oversold here, and it looks like it's going to have a bounce in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, guys, moving on now to Aptos. So this is where things get pretty interesting. Of course, Aptos also has this spot ETF filing, but the other thing too is that Aptos recently announced that they're basically going to start pushing their ecosystem, you know, basically having like a huge incentive program for developers and for crypto projects on Aptos to kind of really drive, you know, TVL and users and stuff like that. And I do think that this is going to work quite well. It's really nice that we did see a little bit of follow through on Sui's price in the last couple of days. So we did see a little bit of a bounce, you know, over the last few days here. And of course, in this case, we're looking at Sui on the daily using the Bollinger Bands. And you can see that Sui is currently below the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily. So as a fun fact, guys, like in my personal trading strategy, the way that I use the Bollinger Bands is I kind of look on different time frames, and sometimes I'll start as low as the 4 hour. So first I check the 4 hour and I say, okay, is Aptos above the 4-hour Bollinger Band moving average? Yes, it is. And it actually looks like it's squeezing to the upside. Like it looks like it's going to have a breakout to the upside. That's perfect. So that's like a first sign that things are looking good in the short term. So then we zoom out to the daily and we say, okay, where is the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily? Okay, it's around $5.70. So Aptos will probably have some resistance around that level. And we can even see that's consistent with just basic support and resistance. You could say that there's a resistance level here around $5.7, even from the past price action. And once Aptos is above that level, then we can zoom out to the weekly and say, okay, where could Aptos go next after that? And in this case, it could go up to around $8.7. And I do think that's a level that it's going to hit in the coming months. And I'm not sure what the monthly is looking like. I actually didn't check it before I started filming, but yeah, so it looks like the monthly Bollinger Band moving average is also around $8.5. So I suspect that Aptos will see quite a bit of resistance when it gets up to that level, which again, even if we take off the Bollinger Bands, we can see that there would be quite a bit of resistance. Just, you can see it again, just using your eyes, guys, super simple. You can see that there's quite a bit of resistance here, somewhere around $9. Of course, we can move that down slightly a little bit, looking at around 8.7-ish dollars, right? So it's really interesting. Again, the Bollinger Band is an indicator that I use personally every single day. It's the one that I'm actually doing analysis with in the Coin Bureau Club for our members there, and it's one I do recommend you guys use. Again, super simple to add. You just go to the indicators little tab here on Binance, and you just click on Bull. You don't have to adjust anything here. You just keep the defaults. I think I did change the colors a little bit because I didn't like how the colors looked. But besides that, using the default settings there and just switching between different time frames can give you a sense of what's going on, in addition to just looking at support and resistance. But anyways, guys, if you did make it this far and you did find that information helpful, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.